Hey guys, it is me, Professor Jones, and how are you? I'm here today to talk to you about beats and notes and about time signature, going a little bit deeper into it, do a little refresher about that. We have talked about that, and something called subdivision. So pay close attention because I really want you guys to get this. You will need this in trying to read music. And I need everybody to be alert and paying attention. So, time signature, just a quick refresher. We know that it goes in the column, like sort of the third column. The first thing you'll see is like the clef, can't talk. Then we see whatever key signature that there would be second, and then our time signature would go here. So say we're in 3/4. We know after talking about it many times that the top note reflects how many beats are going to show up in that measure. The bottom note will tell us if we see a 4 that we're talking about a quarter note. So that would look like something like this. And it would count 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense? 3 beats in this measure, and the beat we're focusing on is a quarter note. The type of beat we're working with is a quarter note. Now, what we're going to do, I need this little eraser, is go through a few others. If I made this into a 5, then we already have 3, so I just, I could just do that, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're still working with the quarter note because we see the 4 down there. If I was to change that 4 to a 2, what happens? Well, we know that 2 tells us we're working with what type of note? That's right. If you said a half note, you got it correct. Now it's hard for me to draw it before I do it. Like that, and like that. If you said a half note, you were absolutely correct. Okay? And they're 5 because on the top it tells us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do another one. Just mixing it up a little bit. Stay with me, guys. Just focus. Now, what if we were to do 3, 8? How many beats would be in this measure? Yes, I heard you. If you said 3, then it would be correct. But 3 what? 3 eighth notes. That's right. So we have 3 eighth notes. Remember from the video I told you about the single and plural? It could look like 1, 2, 3, and connect them. His head is a little. See? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That would be a good way to write that. And what about if we had 4/16? This one seems to get people a lot. So that's telling us there are 4 beats in this measure, and the 16th note is the one that we're working with. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to connect it 4/16. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That looks really sloppy. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/16 notes. And that's it with the time signature refresher. Okay? So, something very important that I notice kind of gets people a lot. Let's pick one time signature. Let's do 4/4 because that's pretty simple. And we're gonna do 4 beats in this measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did that kind of backwards. See, because I think the stem, because it's below that middle line, because the head is down below the middle line, that stem should have went up. And then this one should go down. So let's make sure it's correct. So now, something I want to explain that seems to get people really crazy. When we start talking about music and getting more into it, we can't just stick to just the quarter note. It's about time and space, and music moves and breathes. There's like a micro and a macro. So like, what am I talking about? Sounds like Professor Jones is gone crazy. So if we have a quarter note, you know, we're still in this 4/4, we're going across, but maybe the emotional music has more inflection in it. So it might do that. This still is the same space as a quarter note. Why? Because if you remember, the quarter note, if you divide it into 2, you're going to get 2 eighth notes. It also looks like that. You see that? So this is the beginning of my talking about subdivision. And it's very important that you guys understand this concept. So I could have easily substituted one of these quarter notes for 2 eighth notes. And it takes up the same amount of space and time. What if I wanted to change another quarter note into something else? Do you remember that the quarter note, if you remember math, we have the quarter note that divides into 2, the 2 eighth notes, right? But if you divide those 2 eighth notes, if you divide one of those eighth notes, you get 2 16th notes. So what does that mean? If I have 2 eighth notes into that 1/4, and then I divide that eighth note, then I'm gonna get 4 16ths. Because look at that. So this beat that I erased here, this quarter note that was here before, because you know we're in 4/4, 1 2 3 4, I could have also just made it into 1 E and a. And that's kind of how we count it. The 16th notes are counted like 1 E and a. Make sure that lines up right. E and 1 E and a. The eighth note, we will say 2 and, whatever number it falls on. So look, this is still 4/4. 1, 2, and 3, 4 E and a. Do you get that? This is still in the same space. I just substituted the quarter note for other subdivisions. I'm not going into 30-second notes, but you could go that deep with it. I'm going to stop right here with the subdivision, and we will do some of the larger macro beats like whole notes and see how we can substitute that and break it down all the way down to the 16th note. I hope this has been helpful for you guys today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.